Talk to us, Finian, about the connection between soil health and human health.
So it's the organisms that make most minerals available. So when we have healthy living soil, those minerals can be taken up by the plant, and all of a sudden they come back and they make healthy leaf or healthy fruit because those trace minerals, all those trace minerals that our body needs, are made available because of microorganisms. So unless we have healthy soil that's full of life, we don't get the nutrients that we need.
Given that this is a global concern, how important are consumers in this fight to get organically produced food?
I always say consumers are going to drive a bunch of this, a big part of it. They're deciding where they're going to get their product from, how their product's going to be made, how that's going to be sourced. Any of these purchasing agreements can be adjusted so they're supporting regeneratively grown food if we take that advocacy on. So that's why I do something called soil advocate training. We've trained about 3,000 advocates from over 30 different countries on how to advocate in their place, in their time, and make big differences.
Finian, how far have you taken this fight, so to speak, to the U.S. government?
The 25th of February, the new chairman of the House Ag Committee for the United States, Chairman Scott, he's a representative out of Georgia, he brought Gabe Brown to testify, and he showed a clip, a trailer of Kiss the Ground, the film, at the first hearing for the new House Ag Committee this year. So that was really a special moment. I was helpful in helping to curate that, make Gabe Brown our representative here, and help to make sure those messages were loud and clear. We're working with groups all across the world who are working with their governments. So we help to help people help themselves when it comes to advocating their governments. So that's what I'm most inspired about, is empowering advocates all across the world.
80% of all antibiotics sold are used unnecessarily on livestock.
You had a career in music, and I just want to know what hit you to get into this transformation. What happened?
The first thing that happened was I had a dream that altered my perspective on how much I needed to do to get involved. I was an old man in this dream, like 90 years old, and I was living in a refugee camp in Brazil at the time. And global climate change had wreaked havoc on the world. Billions of people had died and been misplaced. And I'm in this refugee camp, and my granddaughter wakes me up in the middle of the night. She's like, I found a hole in the fence. And the two of us sneak out of the refugee camp, and we walk through the hills. And then as we come over the crest of this one hill, in front of us is a city that's totally destroyed. And she looks up at me and she has tears streaming down her face. And she's like, why did you let this happen? In that moment, I woke up and I was like, what would I say if that really happened? Because it is possible.
Fossil fuels are by no means the only thing that is causing climate change. When we damage soils, carbon goes back to the atmosphere.
But when we destroy soil, it releases carbon dioxide.
Biosequestration is using plants, trees, and techniques of grazing and farming to capture carbon and store it in the soil.
Is the damage done, or can we reverse this? And how quickly can we do this?
So much damage is done, and so much damage is being done. So one thing to remind ourselves all of is that if we halted all emissions today, we still have more residual carbon in our atmosphere with nowhere to go because of what we've done to our land. We have to start thinking beyond just limiting emissions into regeneration of our land so it functions again. And that's the hope that humanity has.
We haven't been this dry in decades.
At the end of the day, to be truly economical and efficient, farming needs healthy ecosystems.
If you had to convince anybody that this is a fight worth fighting, what would that be?
I strongly urge you to go to land that's been regenerated and stand on the fence line and see the world we're creating now, which is massive desertification and degradation, and to see on the other side what management just what humans are helping to steward on that land, the significant difference. And there's countless examples all over Africa, all over the US, where you can see how was management helping to regenerate this land or degenerate it. It's happening all over the world. In some of the most degraded places, turning into lush, abundant spaces because of how they're managed. And it can be done with livestock, it can be done with agroforestry, it can be done all over the world in every different environment. The principles of regenerative agriculture are tried and true in every continent, every place, everywhere.